Salut, c'est Géraldine. I just filmed a lesson for this week on Gavin Français, so that's why I have makeup so I can show my face today. I hope you're doing great, and we're going to keep on reading part 18th of La Belle au Bois dormant now. I'm very happy to see you tonight. It's such an honor to be helping you in these dark moments, and I'm going to now put my computer down so I can actually teach you everything about this part of La Belle au Bois dormant. C'est parti! Yesterday we saw that the prince entered the castle. He saw lots of people asleep, and we are going to see what happens next today. Are you ready? I am aiming for maybe that, but that's a lot because this sentence is really big. So let's see what we can do today, but let's read all that together first. Are you ready? Remember, breathe in, breathe out, and 1, 2, and 3. Il passa une grande cour pavée de marbre, il monta l'escalier, il entra dans la salle des gardes qui était rangée en haie, la carabine sur l'épaule et ronflant de leur mieux. Il traversa plusieurs chambres pleines de gentilshommes et de dames, dormant tous, les uns debout, les autres assis. Il entra dans une chambre toute dorée et il vit sur un lit dont les rideaux étaient ouverts de tous côtés le plus beau spectacle qu'il eût jamais vu. Oh oh! Une princesse qui paraissait avoir 15 ou 16 ans et dont l'éclat resplendissant avait quelque chose de lumineux et de divin. Oh oh, so tonight maybe the prince will meet the princess. So let's look at the first sentence together. Il passa une grande cour pavée de marbre, il monta l'escalier, il entra dans la salle des gardes qui était rangée en haie, la carabine sur l'épaule, et ronflant de leur mieux. Here the grammar is pretty easy, so it will be all about vocabulary. Il passa une grande cour pavée de marbre. Okay? Une grande cour is a big courtyard paved with marble. Okay? Grande cour pavée de marbre. So here the marble is what it is paved with. It is what it is paved with. So here we have et because une cour is feminine. Une grande cour pavée de marbre. Okay? Pavé de marbre. Il monta l'escalier. He went up the stairs. I took something. Yeah. Un escalier is stairs. I'm going to check something for you. One reference. Escalier. Stairs. And staircase. Yeah, that's what I wanted to check. I knew stairs. Staircase. Okay. So un escalier is all the stairs. And une marche is a step. Is a step. So un escalier a plusieurs marches. D'accord? Un escalier a plusieurs marches. Several steps. Il entra. He entered. That's easy. Dans la salle des gardes. Dans la salle des gardes, in the room. So here, une salle is a hall, okay? Une salle for a castle, so a hall or a room. Here, if he wanted to say a room, he would say une pièce. But here it is a castle, so you can imagine it is very big. So I assume here the translation is a hall, okay? La salle des gardes, so it is the room where you have all the guards, qui étaient rangés en haie. Here it is les gardes qui étaient rangés en haie, okay? And ranger is to tidy, usually. For example, range ta chambre. tidy your room. But here it is not tidy, it is lined up, okay? To line up or to stand in line. No, aligner is something else. Okay, so it is to line up, so put them in the right order. Ranger, because here they're not objects, they are real people. And if you assume that they are rangés en haie, it does not mean that they were just in a mess. They're actually lined up. En haie, une haie is a hedge or a row. So here you can very easily imagine all the guards in a line. And here, instead of saying qui était rangé en haie, if we take that, qui était rangé en haie, we could say much more simply qui était aligné. Okay? To aligner is lined up. Aligner is to line up. Okay? To line up. Aligner. La carabine sur l'épaule. La carabine is a rifle. A rifle sur l'épaule, on the shoulder, and une épaule is a shoulder. Une épaule, et ronflant de leur mieux. Ronfler is to snore, and de leur mieux is their best. They were giving their best snoring. Ronfler is to snore, and de son mieux is the best one can. Okay, so for example here, it is the best they can because it is about several guards. But I wanted to put that here for you because you'd have to make the son here agree with whom you're talking about. So let's look at this sentence again with la liaison. Il passa une grande cour pavée de marbre, il monta l'escalier, il entra dans la salle des gardes qui était rangée en haie, la carabine sur l'épaule et ronflant de leur mieux. So here there is no liaison. You might have noticed that I say une grande cour pavée de marbre, okay? Because pavé de marbre is an ensemble, paved with marble. You cannot say une grande cour pavée de marbre, okay? Because that's weird. It implies that it is the forecourt itself that is made of marble, but no, it is paved with marble. So it is une grande cour, then you breathe, pavé de marbre, okay? And that's a little subtlety, but it helps you first understand well what you're saying and also be understood well. Une grande cour pavée de marbre. Il monta l'escalier, il entra dans la salle des gardes qui était rangée en haie, la carabine sur l'épaule et ronflant de leur mieux. All good so far. Okay? So let's move on to the next sentence. More people asleep. Il traversa plusieurs chambres pleines de gentilshommes et de dames. Pleines de gentilshommes et de dames. Yeah, you can put une liaison here. Dormant tous, les uns debout, les autres assis. Les autres assis. Let's put one here. So, he traverser is to cross. Traverser is to cross. So it can be a space in 3D, for example, a room, but it can be aussi traverser la rue. Traverser la rue, to cross the street. Okay? Il traversa plusieurs chambres, so several rooms, pleines de gentilshommes, full of gentlemen, but it's noble men, and de dames, and again this could translate now into women, but this is about noble women, because une dame is like a dame in Britain, it is a noble woman. Dormant tous, they were all asleep. Les uns debout, a few of them were standing up, and the others were sitting down. So debout is to stand up, and assis is sitting down. And I'm going to drink a little bit of water while you take some notes. So you can remember this structure of les uns les autres. I think we already talked about this structure. For example, you can do parallels between things. For example, les uns aiment les cacahuètes, les autres aiment, on peut dire les autres préfèrent. Oh, les uns aiment les cacahuètes, les autres préfèrent les chips. So some of them like peanuts, the other like crisps or chips depending on where you're from. Okay, les chips in French is the crispy ones. Okay, I know it's tricky in Britain where you have different words. I think in England it is crisps. So les uns aiment les cacahuètes, les autres préfèrent les chips. So again, you're just doing a parallel between things, and here you can see that I put the same structure. You have a verb and you have a complement of what you're talking about, and here again, les autres, préfèrent is the verb and les chips is the complement. So you might or might not put a verb, but the key here is to have a similar structure. Okay, les uns debout, les autres assis. Les autres assis. Les autres assis. I would not put one here. No, les autres assis. Les uns debout, les autres assis. Yeah, I won't put one. So it is here pretty simple. So let's read this sentence again together. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Il traversa plusieurs chambres pleines de gentilshommes et de dames, dormant tous, les uns debout, les autres assis. Okay, that's pretty okay. Here it is gentilhomme. It is pas gentilhomme. It is not gentilhomme. Okay, so you don't say the S in the middle, and obviously you don't say the L in the middle either. Gentilhomme. So let's move on to what happens next. Let's cut it here. 1, 2, and 3. Il entra dans une chambre toute dorée et il vit sur un lit dont les rideaux étaient ouverts de tous côtés le plus beau spectacle qu'il eût jamais vu. What's good with what we are learning now is, as you can see, the vocabulary that we learned at the beginning is useful throughout the tale. So that's why we can move a little bit faster now, because you saw all the vocabulary, because it just gets repeated, unless it's new. But you already have all the fundamentals of what's happening, the princess, the prince, etc. So that's why we can move faster, and this is very useful for you as well when you're learning, because it is difficult at the beginning, and then it gets a little bit easier later, especially with vocabulary, grammar, conjugation, because it is mostly always the same. Then what matters is for you to understand the context where to use this vocabulary, especially familiar French. But when you know it, then you can test it and listen to it in movies and try to understand by yourself or with someone's help how to use it. So we've been doing, it's our 17th session today, and you can see how much you learned so far. And that's wonderful. So congratulations to you here. Il entra dans une chambre toute dorée. He entered a room toute dorée, so all golden. And here I have to check it out because I wanted to make sure about something, and I found out that I actually did not know the rule, and that's what makes it so interesting. The tout here, I wanted to tell you how to make it agree with the adjective. Well, as it happens, tout here is tout. I'm going to write the rule so you can copy it. Est invariable. That's the beginning of the rule. So you might wonder, yeah, Geraldine, you say it's invariable, but here we have a. So you're wrong. Well, as for everything in French, there are exceptions. Tout est invariable, sauf devant un adjectif féminin commençant par une consonne ou un H aspiré, which makes it so interesting. Because I was wondering if it had to agree with everything. So we have toutes dorées, so all golden. We could have tout nu, naked. And here we can see that it is masculine and singular, tout nu, naked. And here we have une consonne. Okay, so if you want to talk about a woman, you would say toute nu, naked. But if it is tout allumé, for example, le salon est tout allumé. The living room is all light up, as in all the lights are on. But if you want to say la chambre, that's feminine. Est toute allumée, this is what you might want to say. Est toute allumée. But here it is not une consonne, it is une voyelle, so you don't put it. La chambre est tout allumée. And that, I had no idea about the rule. I kind of had a feeling of it, but I never knew the rule, and I'm learning with you. So, tout est invariable, sauf devant un adjectif féminin commençant par une consonne ou un H aspiré. Why do you have that? It is because then it allows you to say it. Toute nue. Okay? Toute nue, toute dorée. And here you can say it a little bit better. Toute dorée. Okay? Le salon est tout allumé, la chambre est tout allumée. So you see here an interesting point of grammar, and because tout is you're insisting on something, it means all around, everywhere, entirely, it's useful for you to know that because you might want to use that in your everyday life when you're speaking French. Il entra dans une chambre toute dorée. Here, he could have said dorée, but he wants to insist that you have gold everywhere, or maybe on the floor, maybe on the curtains, maybe on the ceiling, everywhere. Il entra dans une chambre toute dorée. Et il vit sur un lit, and he saw on a bed. Remember? Passé simple and passé simple. Dont les rideaux étaient ouverts de tous côtés. Where? Dont is which. Okay, so which, how do you say rideau again? I wrote it down. The curtains. Which curtains were open from all the sides? Un rideau is a curtain. Okay, un rideau, a curtain. From all sides. Un côté is a side, so it was open everywhere. You can imagine this kind of old-fashioned, very big beds where you had curtains, and you can imagine on the four sides that these curtains are open. Le plus beau spectacle qu'il eût jamais vu. The most beautiful, what did I write for you? Show. Un spectacle is a show, but here it is more of a sight. Un spectacle is usually a show, 99% of the time. Okay? Un spectacle. And here it is more of a sight. Okay? For example, un spectacle de magie, it is a magic show. A sight is more of something that you see. And it is usually used in written French because you want to be more formal or even more elegant French, okay? I'm not going to say it is more for written French because it doesn't make much sense, but more when you want to be elegant. And here they're really being elegant because it is a fairy tale written in the 17th century where you have a prince discovering a princess. So that's the biggest, beautiful French that you could ever have. Le plus beau spectacle, the most beautiful sight, qu'il eût jamais vu, that he ever saw. Here the jamais is ever, that he never saw literally, but he ever saw. Qu'il eût jamais vu, that he ever saw. Lucky him. We're going to have the time to finish these 3 lines, that's good. So what did he see? he saw une princesse qui paraissait avoir 15 ou 16 ans et dont l'éclat resplendissant avait quelque chose de lumineux et de divin. Il s'approcha en tremblant et en admirant et se mit à genoux auprès d'elle. So here we have une liaison. Une princesse qui paraissait avoir 15 ou 16 ans. A princess who seemed to be 15 or 16 years old. Et dont l'éclat resplendissant, and which l'éclat is the brilliance or the brightness. L'éclat, the brilliance, the brightness, avait quelque chose, l'éclat. And resplendissant is roughly the same, it is radiant. So yeah, she is radiant. He says it in different ways. Resplendissant is radiant. Dont l'éclat resplendissant avait quelque chose de lumineux et de divin, had something of lumineux is radiant as well. So in lumineux you can notice lumière. Okay. And it is bright, radiant again. So it's kind of repetitive here. It just keeps saying the same. And divine is divine. Had a little something of radiant and divine. Il s'approcha en tremblant. Sorry, never do that liaison. Il s'approcha en tremblant. He came forward, trembling, et en admirant, admiring, et se mit à genoux auprès d'elle. Se mettre à genoux is to kneel. Se mettre à genoux is to kneel. Auprès d'elle, next to her. And remember that we said a few times ago, we could say près d'elle, but here auprès d'elle makes it a little bit more important because he has this intention of being next to her. Une princesse qui paraissait avoir, here we have une liaison, 15 ou 16 ans, et dont l'éclat resplendissant avait quelque... Non, not here. L'éclat resplendissant avait quelque... Non. L'éclat resplendissant avait quelque chose de lumineux et de divin. Not here either. Lumineux et de divin. Il s'approcha en tremblant et en admirant et se mit à genoux auprès d'elle. Okay, so I think there are only two of those. But again, some of the liaisons are just depending on how you do them. So it's not a rule. Some people might say, I would do a liaison somewhere else, and that's absolutely fine. I would not be shocked by that. So let's read this sentence together. 1, 2, and 3. Une princesse qui paraissait avoir 15 ou 16 ans et dont l'éclat resplendissant avait quelque chose de lumineux et de divin. Il s'approcha en tremblant et en admirant et se mit à genoux auprès d'elle. Ok. I'm just checking my notes. Okay. So yeah, I told you everything I wanted to show you for today in this paragraph. So let's read again everything together. Are you ready? Breathe in. Breathe out. And let's read this together. 1, 2, 3. Il traversa plusieurs chambres pleines de gentilshommes et de dames, dormant tous, les uns debout, les autres assis. Il entra dans une chambre toute dorée et il vit sur un lit dont les rideaux étaient ouverts de tous côtés le plus beau spectacle qu'il eût jamais vu. Une princesse qui paraissait avoir 15 ou 16 ans et dont l'éclat resplendissant avait quelque chose de lumineux et de divin. Il s'approcha en tremblant et en admirant et se mit à genoux auprès d'elle. How lovely. We're going to see what happens next tomorrow because maybe the princess wakes up or not. So that's it for today. As the student said, it was very funny because I picked the only princess who is in confinement. And maybe next we're going to do Rapunzel because she's stuck in her tower as well. So it's a complete coincidence. It was not my intention at all, but a student in the chat made me notice that, and I thought that was a very, very funny thing. Again, we still have loads of fairy tales to read, so I'm not thinking much about which one we're going to read next, but feel free to offer your input. And obviously it has to be something that is free of rights, so please don't ask for Le Petit Prince, for example, because this one is not possible to do now. Thank you very much for being here. It's so lovely to be with you every night and even on this Sunday evening. I will see you tomorrow at 7:15 p.m. I hope you have a lovely day, a lovely evening and a lovely night. Bonne journée, bonne soirée, maybe bonne nuit. If you could please put a thumb up to the lesson, to the video, so we can tell YouTube that this matters for students at the moment. And à demain à 7h15, heure de Paris. Allez, salut, take care.